Alright, so let's go ahead and review the word problems for your sequences and series test. For number 16, first of all, you have to classify whether this is arithmetic or geometric. To do this, it is best to identify keywords in the problem so that you know which one it is. So here it says during the first week she does 25 abdominal exercises. Each week she will increase the number of daily exercises by 3. So it doesn't give you a factor she's increasing it by, it gives you an actual number that she's increasing it by. So that's going to give you that it's definitely an arithmetic sequence. So the first four terms is the first week she's going to do 25 a day. The second she's going to add 3 more to that, and the second week she's going to do 28 a day, then 31 a day, and then 34 a day by the 4th week. So in order to get to the nth week, I'm going to use my a sub n for an arithmetic sequence. So my first term is 25, and then n minus 1 times my common difference of 3. So if I simplify that formula, it's going to give me 25 plus 3n minus 3, which will give me a sub n equals 25 minus 3, which is 22 plus 3n. So how many will she do after 20 weeks? You're going to do a sub 20 equals 22 plus 3 times 20. So that's 22 plus 60, which is 82. So she's going to be doing 82 per day by the 20th week. Okay. For number 17, a marching band formation consists of 8 rows. The first row is 5, the second has 7, the third has 9, and so forth. So this sequence is definitely going to be arithmetic again because you're adding 2 each time. So 5, 7, 9 indicates you're adding 2 each time, where a sub 1 is 5 and your common difference is 2. So in the last row, again, there's 8 rows. So that means I'm going to have to get a relationship of a sub n because I'm looking for a specific row. The specific row I'm looking for is the 8th one because there are 8 rows in the band. So a sub n equals the first term, 5, plus n minus 1 times the common difference of 2. So wherever I see an n, I'm going to put in an 8 for the 8th row, and then simplify, and I'm going to get that there are 19 in the 8th row. Okay, in the 8th row. Now, I want to know how many total musicians. Well, total musicians, does that include the first row, the second row, the third row? Yes, it includes all of those all the way up to the 8th row. So instead of calculating how many are in each row, I'm just going to use the sum formula. I know that there are 8 rows, so that's going to be the S sub 8, the sum of 8 rows. And then you're going to just substitute the values into the arithmetic formula for sum. So that's going to be 8 times 2 times 5 plus 8 minus 1 times 2 all over 2. And when I simplify that and put it in my calculator, I'm going to be left with 96. Okay, a recursive formula is just how am I going to get the next one? Well, I'm going to take a sub n minus 1, and I'm going to add 2. Okay, next. For number 18, in 2001, the cost of 1 year is $10,000. The price has increased by a factor of. So what does that tell you? What kind of sequence is this? It is a geometric sequence because it's increasing by a factor. So the first 3 terms are going to be 10,000 is the first one. Then you're going to multiply 10,000 by 1.08, and you're going to get 10,800. And then the third term, you're going to multiply that by 1.08, and you're going to get 11,664. So how much would it cost in 2008? This would require you to write a function. So in this case, n is in 2001, n equals 1. In 2002, n equals 2. So what is n going to equal in 2008? It's going to equal 8. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for, n equals 8. But I first have to write my explicit formula. So that's going to be a sub n equals my original amount, 10,000, times the rate, which in this case is 1.08, to the power of 1 minus n. Or sorry, n minus 1, excuse me. Alright, so now I'm going to plug in 8 for n. So a sub 8 equals 10,000 times 1.08 raised to the 8 minus 1 power. And when you plug that in your calculator, you will get $17,138.24. Recursive formula is just taking the previous term, a sub n minus 1, and multiplying it by 1.08. So if you plan to attend the University of Maryland from 2008 to 2012, what will be the total cost of your college education? So there's a couple of ways you can do this. You could take the sum of the first 8 years and then the sum of the first 12 years and subtract them. Or you could calculate 08, 09, 10, 11, 12, etc. Probably the easiest thing is to find the sum of the first 8 years and find the sum of the first 12 years and then subtract the two values. So if I take the sum of the first 8 years, then I'm going to use the formula a sub 1, which in this case the first year is 10,000. And I'm going to multiply it by 1 minus the rate, which in this case is 1.08, raised to the power of n, which in this case is 8, all over 1 minus the rate, 1.08. Same thing for S12, but now I'm just going to replace that 8 with a 10. So it's going to be the same thing, 10,000 times 1 minus 1.08 raised to the 12th power over 1 minus 1.08 on the bottom. So the value of S sub 8 is going to be 106,366 and 28 cents about. For the 12 years, it's going to be $324,771.26. So now if you take the difference of those two values, because those are the sum, you get $218,404.98. Okay. All right. Last problem. Excuse me. Last problem. This one's pretty easy. In this case, you're just adding 1 each time, so this is definitely an arithmetic sequence, so your common difference is 1, and your first cake is 1. Your first candle, you get 1. So a sub n equals the first number plus n minus 1 times 1. So if you simplify this, it's going to basically just be 1 plus n minus 1, and 1 minus 1 is just n. So a sub n is just equal to n. So for each consecutive birthday, you're just going to take the value of the one before, and you're going to add 1. So depending on how old you are, I'm going to give away my age here. I'm 31. So since I'm 31, after 31 years, I'm going to have 31 candles on my cake. However, if I want to determine the sum, I'm going to take S sub 31 equals n, which in this case is 31, times 2 times 1, which is just 2, plus n minus 1, And in this case, n is 31. So 31 minus 1 all over 2. So if I simplify this, I'm going to get 31 times 2 plus 30, which is 32 over 2. And 32 over 2 is 16. And 16 times 31 is 496 candles. So if I had a candle on my cake every year, I would have blown out a total of 496 candles throughout my lifetime. All right.